Next, we're going to categorize our triangles. Remember, they always have angle measurements that add up to 180 degrees. So the first classifications we're going to look at is by angles. And so if we call a triangle an acute triangle, it means all three angles are acute. And remember, acute means between 0 and 90 degrees. So all three angles are smaller than 90 degrees. If we categorize a triangle as being a right triangle, it means one angle is a right angle. Obtuse means one angle is obtuse. Stop and think about this. There can only be one obtuse angle because the sum has to be 180 degrees. So if that one angle is bigger than 90, 90 plus 90 is 180. So it can't have more than one. Okay, so the other two angles would have to be acute. Same thing for the right angle. The other two would have to be acute because they would add up to 90 degrees. My next piece that I'm going to look at is classifying by sides. So when I'm looking at sides, scaling means that all three sides are different lengths. That's what these bars mean. So I have 1, 2, and 3 to say that they're different lengths. An isosceles triangle means that I have two sides that are congruent, and that also means that two opposite angles from those sides are congruent. So if I have them marked this way, those two sides are congruent, and it means that those two angles are congruent. Equilateral means it's also equal angular, but that would actually approach to the relationship of angles, and it means that all of the angles are the same. Equilateral means all three sides are congruent, and the equal angular, because of that relationship, means that all three angles are congruent. Remember, don't say equal. You can say equal measure, but you can't say equal because that would mean the same location. So if I asked you for a triangle and I asked you what the angle measurement is, you really shouldn't have to go through that formula. If I said it's a regular polygon, that's equivalent here to a equilateral. And so since we know that the sum is 180, and we would divide by 3, that would mean each angle inside would be 60 degrees. So now we're going to do some examples. So in this one it says use the properties along with those studied in should be 8.1, sorry, to determine the value of the identified angles in the following diagrams. Then classify each triangle based first on sides and then on angles. So I'm going to blow this up a little bit. We know that the sum is 180 degrees. So by knowing that, we can add 25 and 45. If we add those two together, we should get 70 degrees. So 180 minus 70 degrees should give me that this interior angle A should be 110. All I use there is that the sum inside is 180. Looking at this, if I wanted to categorize it first by the sides, since I have three different angle measurements, I have a scaling triangle. All of the sides are different. Looking at my angles, the 110 is the important one here. This is an obtuse triangle. Going to number 2, I'm going to start with actually the idea here, and this actually means that this is an isosceles triangle. This is 20, but B and C are equal, so if I took the 180, subtracted the 20, I need to now divide that by 2, and that would give me that the other two angles are 80 degrees. And I'm going to put that one inside just so you're clear. That's what I just found. So looking at this, all three angles are less than 90 degrees, so this would be an acute triangle. Anytime you need to pause, rewind, listen to it again, but I'm using any of the relationships I've learned in 8.1, which means I can use vertical angles, it means I can use straight angles, the supplementary idea. Now I'm adding to it the inside of a triangle added to 180. I'm also using the idea of isosceles or equilateral. So If you have a special relationship, you want to try to use that as well. So number 3 is still an isosceles triangle. So based on this, I know that these two angles are the same, so automatically I can label that as 30. So I only had one angle, and that throws a lot of people off, but again, use what's given to you. So now I have 180, and I can subtract off the 60 I have already, and that tells me that angle G is 120 degrees. So now describing this based on my angles, the key angle to describe this is going to be the 120, and that makes it a obtuse triangle. Look back at the definitions if you need to. Looking at number 4, the key in this is that we have all 3 sides labeled so that they're congruent. So this is a equilateral triangle. When I describe it with my angles, I could say it's an equal angular, or I can call it an acute, because we know that these angles will have to be, by definition, have to be 60 degrees each. So number 5, see if you can do it. Go ahead and see if you can do 5 and 6. Any of these, again, you can pause, try to work them yourselves, and then go ahead and do. These are great examples, and they'll be mixed together with these pieces. So number 5, we have an isosceles. So that means, and this is where you have to be careful, the drawings sometimes don't exactly match up, but what I know by this is that this angle here and this angle here are the same. So I can take the 180 total, subtract off that angle on the top, which is 30, I get 150 degrees. Now I know that these two angles match because it's an isosceles, so I can divide by 2. When I take 150 and divide by 2, I should get 75 degrees. So that means that this angle is 75 and this angle is 75. And this is again where the trap comes. Some of y'all just want to automatically go to what you're solving for. Go ahead and label what you can. We now should recognize that this is a straight angle. That means it sums up to 180 degrees. So 180 minus 75 will give me 105 degrees for F. Looking at the triangle, it's an isosceles. That's what we actually used first. And if I look at the angles inside, they are all less than 90 degrees. Last one like this is number 6. We are going to look at this piece again. I can use the 45 being vertical angle. So again, I didn't have them, but I want to use those vertical angles and straight angles and isosceles. Any of those pieces I can. So I have 180. Subtract the 45, subtract the 50. So that's really 180 minus 95. When I subtract that, I should get 85 degrees. So that is my D. Looking inside here, this is a scalene because all of the angles are different. All of the angles are less than 90 degrees, so it's an acute triangle. So looking at the next 4 problems, we're going to deal with these problems, and again, I want to remind you some pieces here. I do want you to try to do these on your own, but I want to kind of remind you some pieces. Use your vertical angles. Use your straight angles. Use the idea that a triangle adds up to 180 degrees. Use the idea that if I have an isosceles, use the idea of parallel lines. I always use parallel lines last because, again, that's an easy spot to make a mistake. So, again, think about it in this order. You don't have to do it exactly in this order, but this helps kind of give some of y'all need that direction. And remember, don't just look for the variable. Start labeling what you can, and sometimes then it falls into place. So pause this, and then when you're finished with 7, 8, 9, and 10, pause it right now and go ahead and try to work on those pieces. So looking at number 7, we're going to use our relationship of a triangle. So the first thing I can do here is I know this is a triangle that adds up to 180 degrees. So I'm going to use that piece first. So I have x plus 67 plus 28 equals 180. That gives me x plus, this would give me x plus 95, which is 180. Subtract the 95 from both sides, and that would give me an 85 in here. Now I can use straight angle here to get that other angle, and I'm going to call that one y now. So y plus 85 equals 180. So y, when I subtract the 85, will give me 95. And lastly, now I have this triangle. So d plus 36 plus 95 equals 180. So I add these two together. This is going to give me 11. Add the 1 there. That's going to give me 13. Subtract the 131 from both sides. And we should get 49 degrees. Now, I'm just going to tell you, I did this way. So I did the yellow triangle first. I used straight lines second. And then I used the green triangle last. I didn't do that on my own paper. So I didn't look at what I was doing. What I actually did on my own paper is I actually used this outside triangle, and I used that one and said 36 plus 28 gives me 64. Subtracted the 64 from the 180. That gave me this total angle here was 116, and then subtracted from that. So I just want you to realize there are more than one way to do it. Stick with what makes sense for you. Okay? So going to number 8. First thing I would do on this one is vertical angles. So that's 80, that's x, that's 30. By just doing that step there, we now have the inside triangle, which is here. So 30 plus 80 is 110. We subtract the 110 from both sides, and we should get 70 degrees is my angle x, and that's my answer. So this one, again, just by using the vertical angles, made it pretty straightforward. Going to number 9, we're going to label what we can label. Okay, so I'm going to start off still with my vertical angles. Here, this is 49 degrees. This is 15 degrees. So I didn't actually say it, but now I have a straight angle. We could actually have used this straight line. We could use this straight line. You have multiple pieces that you could use for it. So it just to kind of, again, what clicks in your head when you see it. You didn't have to use those. You could have used this whole straight line right here. X plus 15 plus 49 equals 180, because that's a straight line. So I get x plus 64 equals 180. Subtract the 64 from both sides. That gives me 116. So this here is 116. This is 116. So I want you to realize you could have drawn that straight line many different ways, and you still could have gotten it using the vertical angles. So my last step is to use this triangle that's now created. So I take the 116, add the 62, so I should get 178 plus c equals 180. All I did there was add these two numbers together, subtract the 178, which gives me 2 degrees. Now, if you get a negative answer, you did something wrong. But remember, angles can be small, they can be big. Inside a triangle, it has to be bigger than 0 and less than 180. So going to our last one for this type, we're going to do our parallel lines. But again, I'm going to start off automatically, not looking at anything, just label what I can. This is 40, this is 60, using vertical angles. Now I'm going to go to my straight line here. So this will be 140. This will be 140. Label those first, because that's your easiest piece to do. Now, I would want to try to use my triangle, but I don't have enough information yet, so I have to use my parallel lines. So I want you to remember, these are my parallel lines. You can use any of the relationships you want, but you always want to use it with one of the original numbers that were given to you. So you want to use either the 40 or the 60 to get to another piece. So, and I look at this, I would probably use the 40 and alternate interiors. I just like alternate interiors, so I tend to use that first. So those two are alternate interior angles. So now I can go ahead and say that this is 40 degrees. And now that top orange line is a straight line. So that means 40 plus 60. So I have x plus 40 plus 60 equals 180. X plus 100. Subtract the 100. We should get that angle there is 80 degrees. That's a vertical angle. I now have my triangle. So inside my triangle, I have 80 plus 40. So P plus 80 plus 40 equals 180. So I have P, subtract the 120 from both sides, you should get 60 degrees, which should match because these are these are alternate interiors. So if you'd done that first, that works as well. This is automatically 60. This creates a straight line right here. So 60 plus what gives me 180? That should be 120 and 120. You may go about it differently, but label the whole drawing for yourself. On a problem like this on a test, draw the picture on your paper and label it.